Story 1. The Girl Who Didn't Blink. In early 2025, a 25-year-old man named Kyle from Portland matched with a girl named Sarah on a dating app. She was cute, friendly, and obsessed with horror movies, so when she suggested coming over to Netflix and chill, it felt harmless enough. She arrived right on time, wearing an oversized hoodie and carrying a small backpack. Kyle made popcorn, dimmed the lights, and queued up a thriller. At first, it was normal. They joked, talked about movies, and laughed at how bad the acting was. But halfway through the film, Kyle noticed something strange. Sarah hadn't blinked once. She just stared at the TV, eyes wide, smile frozen. He thought maybe the light was playing tricks, so he turned on a lamp. Her eyes adjusted instantly, unflinching. Trying to lighten the mood, Kyle said something stupid like, "You're really into this movie, huh?" But she didn't respond. The only sound in the room was the movie and the faint rustle from her hoodie pocket. When he leaned forward, he realized she was holding something small in her hand, metallic shiny. He stood up and said he needed to use the bathroom. As he walked down the hall, he checked his phone. There were new texts from Sarah's account. The most recent one said, "I'm outside. Be there in 5. He froze. Whoever was sitting in his living room wasn't the person he'd been texting. When he peeked around the corner, the girl on his couch was gone. The TV was still playing. The popcorn spilled across the floor. A few minutes later, his doorbell rang. He opened it carefully, and standing there was Sarah, the real one, in the exact same hoodie, smiling awkwardly. She said she'd been running late and wasn't sure if he'd still wanted to hang out. When Kyle turned to show her the couch where the fake Sarah had been sitting, there was a small blood-stained razor blade lying on the carpet and a half-empty popcorn bowl beside it. Security footage from his building later showed a woman entering his apartment 15 minutes before Sarah arrived. Her face was blurry, her eyes completely blacked out by static. Story 2. Continue watching. Rachel was a 30-year-old teacher living in Atlanta, spending most nights alone after work. Netflix was her comfort movie's background noise, something to keep her company. One evening, she started watching a documentary about missing people. Halfway through, the screen froze. Then, without touching the remote, Netflix scrolled to a new recommendation titled "Continue Watching Rachel's Apartment." The thumbnail was dark, just a dimly lit living room that looked eerily familiar. Thinking it was some kind of glitch, she clicked it. The video began playing instantly. The footage showed her couch, her kitchen, her lamp pole from the same angle her TV faced. Her heart dropped when she realized it was live. She stood up, waving her hand, and saw herself on the screen, reacting in real time. Someone was watching her from inside her own apartment. She turned off the TV, grabbed her phone, and ran outside to call the police. But when she got to the hallway, she saw a thin black wire running under her doorframe and into the ceiling vent. The officers arrived within minutes and found a small Wi-Fi camera hidden behind her TV stand, wired into her router. The serial number was traced to a third-party vendor on the dark web, known for selling real home feeds of unsuspecting people. When investigators went through her Netflix account data, they found a strange IP address linked to her profiles, streaming her apartment feed nightly for weeks. Rachel moved out immediately, but months later, she received an email with a Netflix subject line that read, "We noticed you stopped watching halfway through your show." The message included a screenshot of her old apartment and her silhouette sitting on the couch. Story 3. The Shared Account. In December 2025, a couple named James and Tessa were binge-watching a new crime series at their mountain cabin getaway. The snowstorm outside was relentless, and the Wi-Fi barely held up. But it was cozy blankets, hot cocoa, the glow of Netflix on the big screen. Halfway through the night, the show suddenly paused. A notification popped up. Another device has started streaming on your account. James checked their devices. Both of their phones were on airplane mode. Assuming it was a family member back home, he hit continue watching. But then the screen split in half. The left side showed their paused episode. The right side showed a live camera feeder, dark hallway, flickering light, muffled breathing. A shadow moved closer to the camera until it filled the frame. Then the feed zoomed out, revealing a different angle: their cabin's living room. Someone was already inside. Tessa screamed as James rushed to grab the remote, but the power went out. The only sound was heavy footsteps upstairs, slow and deliberate. They hid in the bathroom, trying to stay quiet. Then, faintly, the TV flickered back on, powered by the generator. The Netflix app opened automatically, and the words, "Are you still watching?" appeared. When police arrived the next morning, they found no signs of forced entry. The cabin's internal Wi-Fi camera system had been accessed remotely from another country. The intruder was never found, but on the couple's Netflix viewing history, the last program listed was Your Turn. The thumbnail was an image of their cabin taken from above, dated 3 days before they arrived.